Okay then guys, we're back again with video number 2 of the day, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has just got loads of stuff coming out today, and I'm getting all gassed up and excited about it, so we thought we'd bang out a second video. If you missed the first one, feel free to go and check it out, annotation in the top right corner, then come back to this one, as we've got loads of juicy news for you guys here in the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League community. Now, with that being said, we're going to be talking about review copies today, and the Justice League trophy listing has been leaked, and there are some complaints with regards to what is in there. You're not going to believe it. So just hear me out, okay? If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. On top of that, check out our sponsor, Advanced GG, the #1 clinically proven energy supplement on the market. My favorite flavor, cherry vanilla, but you guys can catch an array of flavors via the link in the description. Use code CLOUD at checkout for a cheeky discount. And with that being said, let's dive on into some more Suicide Squad news. Now, we've got an article here from Forbes, which talks about the reviews for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Now, it states right here, what's going on with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League reviews? On Tuesday, Rocksteady will launch its first major game since 2015's Arkham Knight, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But if you're wondering where press and creators' reviews of the game are just a few days ahead of that, you're not alone. This is not a situation where everybody has played and is just waiting for a day before embargo, which is not that unusual, to be completely honest, but instead, seemingly, no one has actually got copies of the Suicide Squad right now. I've been waiting for updates from the comms team for about 2 weeks now, and I was supposed to hear something official yesterday, but didn't. But asking around, the explanation is supposedly that since this is an always online co-op game, the servers simply aren't going to be turned on until the actual release on Tuesday, the 30th. So no servers means that press can't review the game ahead of that point. It's an explanation, I suppose. But again, for Rocksteady's first enormous game in 9 years, a hugely important title, it's pretty strange, and it feels like something could have been concocted in, I don't know, the last year to still allow actual early playthroughs of the game for review. Even if this is a live game with a lot more content to come starting a month after launch, there's a sizable campaign to start with which obviously can be reviewed. It's also that this just wasn't communicated at all. If the decision was made to not give out early copies because the servers wouldn't be up, it seems strange that people were not told about ahead of time and could plan accordingly. Now, it's just too late anyways. I could get a code this morning, and I simply don't have the time to blaze through a massive game in 2 days for some sort of Monday embargo. And again, it doesn't look like press can even play until launch anyway. I'm probably just going to end up buying the early edition myself at this rate. Now, before we break down the rest of this, which is a couple more paragraphs, I think it's actually insane, because I know what people are saying, and it's a little bit odd, and the way that this games normally work with that sort of stuff is that YouTubers or selective YouTubers and the publications to this degree will get the game a bit early, maybe a week early, a couple of weeks early, where they get to go through the game, and then they will have their full reviews. Now, if you are a smaller publication, it doesn't always work that way. You end up with a bit of a trial, we'll call it, where you have about 4 hours on the day, where you have an on-release day access code, and you'll be able to play for about 4 hours, at which point you can put up your first reviews. Now, the first impressions, sorry, not first reviews, the first impressions is essentially where you just play a little bit of the game, and you give your first impressions on the basis that once you have gone through the game fully come launch, that people will obviously return for your full review point on it. Now, unfortunately, the way that these games are starting to go down is the way of the early access. So what this game has done is, obviously, we know full well that we are a couple of days away now until the full launch on January 30th, except that's not actually the full launch. The full launch comes February 2nd, which essentially means that people are paying to become beta testers. So we're at a $70 mark, I believe, for the full game on 2nd of February, and 100 for the early access release deluxe edition, which is coming on the 30th of January. So essentially, not only are you beta testing and being guinea pigs and finding all the breaks, the glitches, the bugs, the problems over those 2 days, Warner Bros. And Rocksteady will be watching like an absolute hawk to get that day one patch ready for the launch. And essentially, this is their workaround from having beta testers. There's just the way that it is. Now, unfortunately, the actual servers won't be turning on until 30th of January, which is essentially why they've not been able to have review copies around, or at least that's the alleged response from them. Now, I don't know exactly, but for me, I kind of get it. This doesn't mean that they're dodging any bad publicity, any bad press, or anything like that. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it definitely doesn't mean that, although You can never be 100% sure, and if I'm wrong, then you guys already know that I'll put up a video and admit my wrongness inside of this, but it just doesn't seem to be the case. Now, he states right here, though, there is also the not wholly unthinkable possibility that codes are just not going out because Warner Bros. Is worried about reception to the game. This would be after a technically made preview event where a lot of major outlets got their hands on the game for at least a couple hours, but the results were mixed to bad overall. This led to an emergency release of the Alpha NDA where players' feedback was more positive. But the idea may be if press didn't like the preview, Warner Bros. Would rather do a day one launch with no reviews than potentially low ones. Can't prove that, but given what happened with the preview, who knows? Even if it's the server thing, this has not been handled well. It was extremely unusual to go into an early access launch that cost $100 with 0 reviews of the game out. It's even weirder this is happening with Rocksteady, a beloved studio, and their first massive new game in 9 years. So for me, my coverage will probably be just running commentary as I play the game starting Tuesday, and this will end what I would say is one of the worst pre-launch marketing campaigns I've ever seen for a major video game, regardless of its eventual quality. Now, I completely understand the concept there, and I know full well what they're saying, and I think that the price bracket makes this really, really difficult to kind of understand. When we start looking at how much they're charging, like we said, it was $70 odd for the normal edition on a normal launch date, and then $100 with a early access launch date. That's a lot of money, especially when you're not providing anybody with reviews, which I presume will mean that the Metacritics and stuff won't be out ready for launch, which actually is really, really abnormal and not something that we see very often. So I have purchased the Digital Deluxe edition of the game, so I will be playing in it as soon as I can. I'm hopefully going to be live streaming it so you guys can watch as well and dive in with me and see what it is that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is actually like. We're going to then have our review go up very, very soon after that. Hopefully put in as many hours as I can so that we can get something up and going, and then you guys can kind of make your judgments from there. But it is a little bit strange. I'm a little bit cautious, but again, that's what people like myself are here for. I'll put the money in, we'll play the game, we'll end up sending out a load of videos and then see what it looks like, and you guys can make a judgment off of that and whether you spend your money or not. Thanks in advance. Yep, I'll take those cash bag emotes in the comment section right now from you guys for helping you save this. Yep, I know. But what actually happens, we'll have to wait and see. I think that it's a little bit of a stretch to say that they're doing it to avoid bad publicity, because I think that it's just one of those that's a little bit difficult. Anybody who had the preview experience from the general public, like content creators and stuff like that, were generally okay. A lot of the publications and stuff, though, really didn't seem to have much of a positive review point on their first impressions. So we'll see what happens. And this second one is absolutely hilarious. Essentially, there's a post that's gone up on Reddit around 21 to 24 hours ago right now, as of recording. I'm not going to show you it. It is a spoiler, but you guys can find the link in the description to go and check it out. But essentially, it's all of the trophies for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And people are raging. Go on, take a guess why. Yep, it's because you actually do what it says in the title and kill the Justice League. I hate to break it to you. I know, I'm really sorry for the spoilers, but you actually do kill the Justice League. The whole game works in that premise, for God's sake. What are we kicking off about? You're literally purchasing a game that says it in the title. Essentially, the way that it works is in maybe like the same way as a sectioned off game. So you have different areas of the map. Each area of the map has a different boss inside of it, and those bosses are different members of the Justice League. Therefore, you take over that area, you take out the boss, you move on to the next area, yada yada yada. Therefore, you get that trophy and you move on to the next one. So yes, there's a trophy for killing each member of the Justice League. I don't know what you expected. Not too sure I understand it, but let me know in the comment section if you are one of those absolute nutcases that is kicking off about it, because realistically, are you mad? Are you mad? I don't get it. Let me know what you guys are thinking via the comment section below on what you think is going on with this, and whether you think that this is a ploy to not get bad reviews before the initial launch of it, or if you think that this is just one of those methods with the servers not being turned on and there's not really much of a viability to actually have any early access into the game. Thanks again for watching, guys. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe with post notifications turned on. Appreciate you all, and as always, up until the next time, I'll see you in the clouds.